over here. Okay. People on my channel were getting feedback, and that's because I had my microphone on. No, USA Inc., I turned it off. Is that better? Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm simulcasting from my laptop. So it looks like for the first couple of minutes, I had my microphone on my laptop, so they were getting the double feedback. So anyways, guys, sorry about that. So guys, I'm simulcasting on my channel today because I've got it in vertical and I'm going to make some shorts out of it. So thank you for joining me on the Ehline channel, but I'm over at John Felix's channel if you want to watch it in horizontal mode. So you're welcome to come on over there. So we're not splitting the audience. I'm really only doing it so I can make shorts throughout the week because I've got really, really bad sciatica. My back is just jacked up. So right now I'm sitting on this chair where my knees are on a special, it's like, you know, my legs are behind me and I've got my knees on this little thing. So I've got a bulging disc and I loaded up on ibuprofen and freaking every kind of painkiller you can imagine, John, just so I could be here. I did my show live from bed the other day without showing my video, just so I could at least do a show for John, because I care about the guy and I know what it's like to have a back injury. So again, John, I don't want to get too crazy, but this show is we're doing this, strike that, for Lynn Davidson, doing the show for Lynn Davidson, not John. See, that's what,
you're not 100%. I got it.
Yeah. No, that's what these meds do, man. Yeah. But yeah, so Lynn Davidson and Lynn is wheelchair bound. He doesn't have any hot water. And so I'm doing this gold giveaway. It's not really a giveaway. Whoever donates the most to Lynn is going to get this 1/10 ounce piece of gold. Oh, look at that. We got it almost. I almost got it focused in, John.
Mm-hmm.
A little better. But yeah, that's King. Unfortunately, it's King Charles, guys. But honestly, I'm all about 4/9 fine gold. I don't really like American gold eagles. And I figured you'd rather have a beautiful, pure piece of gold than an American gold eagle for this.
I really think that's 22 karat, man, but that's fine.
No, 4/9 fine is 24. 3/9 fine is 22.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you mix it with a hardening agent like copper or silver, like an American gold eagle, it's 22 karat. But so the Canadians and the American gold buffalo is also 24 karat. If you put them side by side, John, you'll see that the American gold eagle is sort of you can almost see a little haze of copper, right? It's not pure super yellow, but take a look sometime. I should have brought a gold buffalo so I could show you guys side by side, but we can do another show together and we can talk about that. We can talk about different types of gold and stuff. But yeah,
I want to paint a picture for people. Like everyone heard of 24 karat purity levels, 23, 22, 95, 92, 93, 87.
Yeah, see, there you go. 22 karat American gold eagle.
Okay. Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you type in,
was too soft to make into a coin. Okay.
Well, yeah, it is. Well, it is. That's why you got to keep it in a capsule. So for example, this piece of gold, guys, I took it out of the capsule so I could show it to you. Okay. But yes, it's very soft, and
if you hold it for a while, it'll actually bend, no problem, right?
It could.
Yeah.
Well, if you can damage it very easily. It scratches real easy, but a lot of the purists want the 24 karat and they put them in capsules so they don't get scratched. Like you couldn't carry them as currency like this, right?
Right.
It would scratch up. That's even silver. Pure silver is the same way. That's why these are 90% silver. Our original silver coins are 90%, and they have 10% copper. Is a hardening alloy.
The Olympic Games, when they were giving out, I think they stopped actually giving out real gold medals and silver medals. I think they stopped using real precious metals. But when the Olympians used to win their gold medals, they would bite into their medal as like not a ritual, but a tradition, because it left your teeth marks in there because you could bite into soft gold.
That's right. And in fact, that in the old days, guys, that's how, if you handed someone a gold coin, you see in the old movies, John, they'll bite down on it. They're checking to make sure it's real gold. And you could do the same thing with silver, because silver is also very bendy if it's 4/9 fine. Yeah.
Also, a lot of people don't know, this is a fun fact about coins. The coin that has a reed, those little vertical lines all the way around that has a reed on the coin, they call it a reed. But you know, a quarter has those little reeds. It's not smooth on the
Well,
edge.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
They-
We know who did that.
Yes, yes. Don't say
We,
nothing. Please don't say it.
I don't want to
Please,
get
please,
banned.
please. But certain people in certain cultures throughout the years, what they would do is take silver and they would shave a little bit off the edges and save it on the side in a jar or something, and then they would spend that dollar, and they'd be committing fraud against the merchant while they keep a little bit of the gold. So what they had to do was put a reed on the outside of the coin so the scammers couldn't just I think they called it coin clipping or coin shaving or something.
Yeah,
like
shaving or clipping. You're right, and that's what those reeds are for.
So let's
That's
paint this picture for people in this next half hour, Mike.
Okay, yeah, let's get this going because I know you
We
got
want
it.
as much. We get as much precious metals as you can. Precious metals are your friend. I've been saying this since the 90s. Whatever.
Do it.
We're
Yeah, do
conspiracy theorists. We're militia. We're crazy. We're right wing extremists. Blah blah blah. But don't wait till everything goes down the toilet and then be like, oh my God, I got $20 on me. I got no precious metals. I got no bullets. I got no guns. I got nothing. Dude, get some bullets. Get at least 1-2 firearms, some backup food, and some precious metals. Good starter, right?
That's right. Okay, so I'm going to get into the content that I've created for the show because I know you got to go, and also my back is really hurting. Like I'm trying to get comfortable. That's why you see me moving around. So first off, again, a big shout out today for our disabled YouTube Patriot buddy, Lynn Davidson. Lynn's been grinding it out.
Let me ask you something real quick, man, because Grateful Dabs is telling people what the highest bid is right now. I thought they weren't supposed to know.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
so the highest bid right now is $100, and $101 bid right now will win that thing. And tonight's the last night, right?
Yeah, and it's not just based on monetary amount. If someone gives them a truck, we'll give them
I see. So or equal value.
Equal value, yeah, because he needs a truck. He doesn't have any wheels. He doesn't have any hot water. I mean, anything you can do to help the guy. I mean, I'm not getting anything out of it other than just being a good Christian, trying to help a fellow brother out because I care about him and I don't want him to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, this is the last day of the 1/10 ounce gold contest, and it's a beautiful pure gold coin. It's constitutional currency, straight from our founder's vision in the Constitution. I can't remember the article, but the Constitution requires that all debts be settled by gold and silver. Was that Article 10? I can't even remember.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Gold and silver is supposed to be legal tender, nothing else.
That's right.
Specie money.
Yes, sir. So to enter or donate, go to Lynn's GoFundMe. He's also got another one. And we're going to tally him up. He's going to share that information with me so I can figure out who won. Mm-hmm. And also, if somebody gives him a computer, we'll figure out what the fair market value is. And whoever the highest bidder was is going to get the gold.
Okay.
And you guys can trust me. I'm not going to screw anybody. I've got contest rules laid out on the video on my other channel. I just want to make sure that he's able to take care of himself, at least temporarily. But again, I'm not about giving the fish. I'm about giving the pole, John. So what? Yes. I don't mean it that way, but a fishing pole.
Yeah.
Right.
Got it.
Because because the goal here is to get him set up to where he can make money or make fiat currency while he's disabled. And I think a great way to do that is to help him get set up with a monetized YouTube channel. And I think this could be a way to do that. Mm-hmm. But if you have food you want to send him, MREs, LREs, any of that kind of stuff, get it over to him. He'll get you set up. Grateful Dabs will coordinate getting his address to you. So anyways, that's that. And so we're going to draw the winner live. I think that it's going to be 30 days from today for us to tally everything. Then I have to get your tax information because unfortunately our government forces us, when we deal in constitutional currency now, they force us to collect tax information on these transactions. And because I'm doing it on YouTube and we're not doing it in person, I don't want any problem with the IRS. So, but I'm not taking any taxes out or anything like that. It's up to you to report yourself, but I've got to be able to collect that information because I'm giving this away and that's the way it is. So not a big deal. It'll be super easy and it'll be confidential between just us. So anyways, the show today is about using constitutional currency like gold and silver when the economy tanks and the power grids fail, the supply chains collapse, and we'll cover building parallel systems with fellow patriots and bugging out smart. I'm going to talk about prepping supplies, vehicles for evasion, water survival, how to purify your water, how to get water, how to dig a well. I'm going to cover as much as I can before I get in too much pain, and maybe I'll just have to finish it on my own channel at another time.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about trading with precious metals. So everybody stick around, and I'm going to answer everything that I can live. So picture this, guys. The bank shut down. The dollar's worthless. ATMs are dead. What do you use? How do you survive? We know the government wants you to move to 15-minute cities. We know they want you to inject yourself with safe and effective stuff that Bill Gates wants you to take. And we know that Bill Gates believes in population control. We know that his friends want to replace us with humanoid robots. So what a great way if they can just do a really good jobs with vaccines, like Bill Gates said, right? So, but for those of you that want to survive, we'll talk about it right now. So gold and silver, as outlined in Article 1, Section 10 of the U.S. Constitution, is our only constitutional currency. No state shall make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. In a collapse, fiat paper crashes. Our fiat currency has lost at least 96% of its value since 1913. But again, I discussed how this same piece of gold could have bought you, what could you get for $700 today, John?
That's half your rent, half your mortgage.
Okay, well, this same piece of gold could do that today.
Mm-hmm.
And this would have been worth about maybe $5 back in 1932.
It would actually be worth 50 cents if it's $5. No, yeah,
about $5. Yeah. So okay, so check it out. So this same piece of gold today has the same value, and that's what John was talking about. How gold is a hedge against inflation, because when the government creates fiat currency, inflation isn't caused by the consumer price index. The consumer price index is caused by printing fiat currency, by quantitative easing.
Mm-hmm.
When they create worthless paper, the Rothschilds and the Warburgs and the people who destroyed our country with these private banks, that is what causes inflation, guys. And so this same piece of gold right here could help you pay your rent today, just like it could have paid your rent back in 1930 or whatever. But $5 could have paid your rent. That's what's crazy as well, right? The value. But anyways, $5 of fiat currency, what's that going to buy you? A Coke?
Yeah, basically.
I mean, if you go to a Vegas casino, it might get you a small glass of water or something, if you're lucky. All right. So what we're going to do is, you can get a 1/10 ounce gold coin from me, that like the one I'm going to giving away. You can buy them on places like SD Bullion, and silver's great too. You just want to get the pre-1965 US dimes and quarters, $50 like this. I showed you guys earlier. 90% silver. That's what I'm going to trade with in a bug out situation. You can get a cheap acid test kit from a coin shop, and you can scratch the metal and apply acid and check for the color change. Or you can use a digital scale and calipers to verify the weight and dimensions against known specs. Apps like Bullion Test can also help, but if there's no power, you're not going to have a phone. So the key is that you don't get ripped off. They also have pingers. You know what a pinger is, John?
Pinger.
It's like a clip that you put in here, and then you go like this, and it goes ding, ding.
But you can tell. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It makes the same noise, the same tone.
But you can tell just by me doing this. Mm-hmm. Silver has a unique sound, and so does gold. But silver in particular, it's really cool. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot light. It's light. It's just beautiful. I love silver. I know you do too. So we got another thing in common besides beautiful women, right?
Yes.
So
I'm looking at my wife. Go on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, me too. Yeah, absolutely. Woman. Sorry about that, wife. Mm-hmm. Mine's gonna come in here with a machete any minute. She's from El Salvador. They don't mess around.
It's all good.
So in a collapse, you want to trade smart. You want to barter with gold for big items like land or vehicles, and silver for your daily needs. You can build trust networks now, and that's what I'm trying to do by doing these shows with you and other people. And you can join Patriot groups on forums like survivalist boards or local meetups. That's your parallel system for now. But now, in addition, if you know any military veterans, especially combat vets, you want to form block captains, because a lot of you guys live in the suburbs or you live in the city. And obviously, you need to get the F out of the city as soon as the economy collapses, because you're going to have all these people that were dependent on welfare checks and the government for everything. After about 3 days, they'll be cannibalizing humans for food, and they'll come in and steal everything from you, take your wife and kids and do whatever they have their way with them. And that's reality. That's what is going to happen when the shit hits the fan. You don't think for a second that it won't. And that's why I want to talk to you about bug out locations. That's something that John was asking me about. So, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And all the way, by the way, guys, what's your precious metal? Drop it in the comments, and remember to donate for Lynn and look at the contest entry in the link description of my video. And then really quick, I just want to say hi to everybody on my channel. Hi, TDJ, TDG7SG. I have not heard of the book, Raven of Zurich. I'm going to check it out. Lynn Davidson, good seeing you. Pro Se America, good seeing you. Pro Se America is a pro Second Amendment guy. You definitely want to know a little bit about firearms if you're going to be bugging out and you want to be a survivalist. Great Gazoo 8358, good seeing you, man. So I see Great Gazoo on a lot of the silver channels, and I frequent a lot of them, and so I'm pulling a lot of them over to our show. And I think these are great people to have as part of the Patriot community, because they already understand that we got screwed by the Federal Reserve System. And so they're great people to learn about bugging out with. Okay.
People who know about the Federal Reserve and fiat currency and gold and silver are almost always patriots, conspiracy theorists, truthers, you know, all the bad names they call us.
Yeah, that's right. It's just
or if you want a synonym for all that, American patriot. Go ahead.
Yeah, people who believe in what our founding fathers intended for us. Yeah. People like Andrew Jackson, people who are anti-federalists, who believe in states' rights and less government means more freedom, typically are people who stack. So that's why I wanted to get the guys from the gold and silver community over here for us.
Lynn Davidson is in the chat. Does he want to come up by chance? Can he? Does he have the ability?
I don't know that he does. He's on a phone with a cracked screen. And that's the other thing. That's why I'm trying to help him out, so we can get him in a little bit better of a situation.
All right.
So, yeah. So let's talk about creating parallel systems. We're already doing that right now in the cop watcher community. But I'm trying to reach out beyond the cop watcher community, as you can see, by bringing in people who are patriots, who don't just focus on exposing bad police. I focus on exposing everything, not just bad cops. I think that it all starts with the bankers. I think the reason why we have corrupt politicians is because of bankers, because greed corrupts. And these politicians go into office worth maybe 50 grand, and then in a few months they're worth millions. And you have Nancy Pelosi making millions on the stock market. Gee, I wonder how she's doing that.
Yeah.
So, you know, little things like that really bother me, because corruption, money corrupts everybody unless you have a good moral base. And that's why I consider myself to be a Christian. I always convict myself with those values that I was reared up on. But I'm not forcing it on anybody, but you need to have a moral compass in your life. So
hey, hold on one second. Sheriff Oinko says, see this, they might not do that directly, but the bankers, you know, they put these, the IRS will do that to you. Yeah. The bankers police force is the IRS, and the bankers police force will absolutely extort you on the side of the road, kick in down your door, take everything you own, take every bank account you have, freeze all your accounts. It happened to Ed and Elaine Brown. It's happened to thousands and thousands of people over time. Yes, they do. Go on. Sorry.
Well, the chief of police, all the, you know, who's funding them, who's donating money to expand their police stations, who's giving them bribes on the side, these corporations and these bankers.
Who buys them all the radar guns, who buys them all the stuff they use, the tools they need to extort more money out of American pay. The insurance companies fund the police and give them more and more radar guns, because the more times people are pulled over and stopped by the cops, the more money insurance companies can charge you as a premium, because then you're considered high risk.
That's right. And the politicians are the ones who are under the thumb of the bankers, and they're the ones who create the police forces and fund them. So of course they're all part of. So I believe that it doesn't start with the police; it starts with the leadership, and the leadership is completely contaminated by corruption, starting with the Federal Reserve banking system. It used to be that people would police themselves, and municipal police. When my dad was growing up, They used to drag race their cars on the 22 freeway. They were all into building Chevys and stuff like that. And they would race against the rich kids who had the Mopars, and the police would come out and watch them race.
Mhm.
Now you try to pull something like that, and the police will be pulling out their guns trying to execute you on the spot.
Not only that, they will arrest a spectator.
They'll even arrest a spectator. But again, this was when the 22 freeway was closed down. It's before our government flooded the country with illegal aliens, and we actually had a culture where we didn't have people waving Mexican flags trying to destroy our country, et cetera, et cetera. People were proud to be Americans. And the police would come out and they would hang out and watch these guys and keep an eye on things. And you didn't have them doing crazy burnouts, getting crazy, running people over and hitting them with their cars in the middle of the city like they do in LA, like psychopaths.
Yeah.
It was, you had your crew with you, you'd build your motors, it was just different, man.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it wasn't reckless like these guys today.
It was more controlled and responsible.
Well, people were responsible, and the police allowed you to police yourself. And when the laws become so voluminous that everything's regulated, everyone is an outlaw. And that's what we have today under these leftist Marxist policies in California. And that's why we fled California. Like, I had to keep my gun in a locked container in my car, had to have the magazine separated from the magwell.
Useless. They made it useless.
Useless. Yeah. And that's why I'm a Second Amendment rights attorney, to fight that stuff. But unfortunately, I also have a duty to protect my wife and children. And I can't stay in communist Fornia and do that with their absolutely overwhelming and uncool laws that they have. Yeah. Draconian laws that they have. So let's just get back into it really quick, John, because I'm trying to make this as fast as I can.
Yeah, man.
All right. So you can start prepper groups with apps, like even meetup apps, Signal. You can share your skills. And again, I suggest finding military veterans in your community, people who have served in combat. Those are great people to learn about prepping from, or just to have as a block captain. Hold on. Someone sent on my channel says they sent me a text. Oh, okay. Check this out. So Kinetic Customs says he's been living off the grid for over 16 years already. He's a master electrician. He's got a degree in wind energy and can consult anybody as far as building off-grid systems. By the way, he's shown me some amazing stuff that doesn't require a lot of power.
That guy needs a YouTube channel.
He does. He does have one, but he needs some help. We need to get him hooked up with Lynn, and they can help each other. But if anybody has questions, you can email him. That's Kinetic Customs. Kinetic, you need to go over to John Felix's channel as well and drop the link, or have Grateful Dabs do it for you, because I'm going live on his channel right now.
Kinetic Customs is the prepper?
Yeah, Kinetic Customs and Racing. He's a mechanic. He's a prepper. Oh, yeah, you know him. Yeah, he's my homie.
No, he's good in the chat. I don't know him personally.
Okay, well, he's going to teach my kids. He also speaks Castilian Spanish, and he's going to teach my kids Spanish lessons.
Okay.
Because they're Salvadorian citizens and they barely speak Spanish, so I want them to learn the good stuff.
Muy bien.
Orale. I only know the Mexican Spanish, carnal. You know what I mean?
Spanish, primo.
I know.
That's Spanish, primo.
Hey, orale, carnal. What are you saying, primo?
Carnal, that's so
funny. La tuya way.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, cracker. Calm down.
Chingón, carnales. Orale.
Okay. Sangre por sangre. Let's go.
Pato loco. Okay. So, anyways, someone who's a mechanic. So when you create your bug out, I believe you should create bug out groups. Okay. Now, John, you talked about, well, where do you bug out to? I mean, what if it's someone else's property? Because I was telling you.
Yeah. How do you know?
Yeah. Get a dirty man safe, bury your shit, right? So you're ready to go.
What's a dirty man safe, please?
Dirty man safe is basically a special safe that you can bury underground that's moisture resistant, where you can put your gold, silver, and supplies and have it buried off site. So, because obviously if you're a stacker like me, you don't want to keep your gold in the house. You don't want to keep, like, I keep my stuff in a safe deposit box. I just brought some of this stuff out so I could show you some constitutional silver.
How do you pick a location?
How do you pick a location? We're going to get into that in a minute. But one idea that I had is that, dude, you can buy land outside the city, just barren land, for nothing. And if you get a group of people together and put it in a trust, there's your plot of land where you can bury stuff. The issue is going to be, who do you trust that well that you're going to form a bug out group with?
Right.
It's okay, but that's up to you. And when the Amish were able to do it, there's no reason why you can't do it either. But you always keep your dirty man safe location secret no matter what. And why do you do that? Because no matter how much you trust somebody, if it does get stolen or dug up, the first person you're going to look to is the person you thought you trusted.
Right.
And it's going to create bad blood. But look, there's some things you need to read between the lines and figure out for yourself. But I'm just going to give you the framework of how I would do it. Forming a local network, starting a prepper group, definitely. Bugging out. Don't wait till the chaos. Have an escape plan, guys. The roads are going to be jammed and stalled with cars. You're thinking you can just pack a bunch of water and stuff in your truck and get on the freeway. No way, man. You're going to have highwaymen. You're going to have these Antifa type people, these scumbags that are going to be like blocking the freeways. They're going to be breaking into your car, especially now with critical race theory. If you're a white person, they'll probably try to kill you and blame you for everything. That's what the Democrat Party has taught them to think. And so you have to be smart about it. And so what I would recommend, they have these 4-wheel ATVs that are like these, I forgot what they're called.
4-wheelers.
Little motorcycles, and you can tow stuff with them, and you can go off road. That way you can stay off the main roads and freeways. You need to have an off-road vehicle. Don't think that you're going to be able to use the roads. That's where every criminal and their brother are going to be trying to kill you and take your stuff, because they know you're going to be bugging out, and they don't have anything because they've been living off the government all their lives. They don't think like us. They think that, the government's responsible for them from cradle to grave. That's how they've been trained. So they're going to be coming and trying to find people like us because we were resourceful, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something you need to think about. So where do you go? Outside the city limits, rural areas with water sources, preferably. So you could scout national forests, Bureau of Land Management land. Look at free camping spots in states like Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. Don't just think, John, that it's going to be someone's property. I mean, get out there and try to find your bug out spot.
Okay, so let me ask specifically. I live in central by Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
I don't have a bug out plan right now. I wouldn't know where to go. I live in the suburbs. I feel like I'm basically a sitting duck. So if something's going on right now, I'd grab my wife and everything I can, I guess, from the house and go where?
You can't. You're kind of stuck until you build your prepper community.
Oh, so you basically got to stay in your house and ride it out if you're not ready to go when it happens, huh?
I don't think you're going to be able to write it out on your own. They're going to Molotov your house, and you got it. In order to protect your suburb, you'll have to build a perimeter around the entire block. You have to be sandbagged off. It's going to be a major production.
Dude, I've always wondered, Michael, if I went to door and I said, "Hey, I'm an American patriot constitutionalist, and I want to start a group with our neighbors that if something were to go down, we would all protect each other and follow up on each other." But I start thinking about it, and I think as soon as I start doing that, people are going to go, some psychopath came to our door and acted like everything isn't normal and that stuff can go wrong.
Facebook.
And they'd probably call the police on me.
Start a Facebook group for your town.
But the Facebook group is, now you're showing publicly. Oh, you make a private group maybe?
Yeah, just say, look, I want to start a prepper community in case there's a shit hits the fan situation. If you're interested, give me a call or email me, and then you have private meetings to discuss everything else.
Oh, okay.
But let me just tell you, if you want to protect like your whole area, like the whole block, you're going to have block captains. You're going to have armed guards.
Like a platoon almost.
Which in Florida wouldn't be that big, probably that difficult. I mean, there's a lot of patriots who live in Florida who left there because they didn't want to be in a place like communist Fornia. They want to be able to have firearms. So you're going to have a much better chance than someone in communist Fornia.
But Bronson said his neighbors came to him. How does that work, brother?
Man, I think that's awesome. And look, you're going to find people like that, but you got to put yourself out there at least temporarily. And you may have to go door to door or just start talking to neighbors. And, if you see someone with a pro Second Amendment sticker on their car, well, that's one person that for sure is going to be in your group. You just have to use some common sense and you'll be able to build a group like that. So now, but if you live in an area that's by a public park, like a forest area. You're not in Florida where the mosquitoes are going to fly away with you. You can look at the free camping spots in states like Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, or you can buy a cheap piece of real estate, John, outside the city limits. But the question is going to be, how are you going to get there? Again, you're going to need to have an alternative form of transportation, like these four-wheel drive vehicles, and you're going to have to be well armed, because there's going to be people trying to take your stuff. 1,000,000% that's going to happen. So you need to learn about firearms training. You need to learn about bounding maneuvers. You need to like have your wife training with you, your kids training with you. If you have kids, everybody in the family should know how to use a firearm, how to disassemble it, how to clean it, how to put it back together, how to disassemble magazines, how to stretch the springs, how to clean everything. I mean, everybody, you should have a go-to weapon. I prefer the AR-15. I don't want to get fancy. You should probably have one or two of them so you can cannibalize the other one in case something goes wrong with it.
And a shotgun.
Definitely, I think a shotgun, a 22 long rifle for varmint hunting would be good. You don't want to get carried away having all these guns. You want to be more focused on ammo, and you want to load up on ammo. Yes. And since the AR-15 is the most highly sought after rifle, highly used rifle in the United States, there's plenty of 5.56 and 2.23 ammo. So 5.56 NATO ball rounds are what we use in the military, but you can also use 2.23 rounds in an AR-15. Mm-hmm. So it's really easy to get ammo unless you live in California, but pretty much anywhere else, that's your go-to ammo. 22 long rifle is super cheap. 22 magnums. Have a nice little 22, preferably one of the 22s that you can break down and disassemble, so it's easier to pack. I'm just throwing some ideas out there. You want to have at least one handgun. I prefer a Glock 19 because I've never had a failure with it. It's light, and I have more than enough ammunition. And that's just for close quarter battle. Your rifle is your go-to weapon at all times.
We got some controversy, dude. Stop hating on California. Why? He lives in California, so he has every right to complain about California, considering he funds it. And secondly, California is not that great, bro.
Well, I fled communist-fornia, and
okay.
Yeah, in order to be, yeah, but if he wants to stay in a totalitarian fascist state where the government controls every aspect of your life and tries to tell little boys that they're girls and little girls that they're boys in the public schools, have at it, bro. How
about this guy saying you're contradicting yourself. Bro's talking about forming a communist community while calling fascist communities. This is libertarian brain.
Yeah, well, he's an idiot. So communism is where the state controls the means of production, just like socialism. And what I'm talking about is forming a voluntary organization.
Yes, big difference.
People help each other. In a communist system, it becomes like a union where everybody stands around waiting for the industrial guy to do all the work because they all know they're going to get paid no matter what. And so the Pilgrims tried a form of communism, and a lot of people did the same thing. They stood around because they were all equal. No, I'm talking about building more of a militaristic community where you have rank and you have people who are in charge, and everybody has designated tasks. And if they don't handle their business, they're out. Nobody stands around and gets anything for free like in communist-fornia. So a big difference. So now with respect to finding a bug out spot, I would look for lots under 50 grand. If, for example, in your situation in Florida, it's flat. You don't really have elevations, so it's harder to defend. So I would be looking for wooded areas that have a lot of land, a place where you could dig a well for fresh water. And, but if you're in a remote area like the Ozarks or the Appalachians, that's, you could probably get a 5 to 10 acre lot with a stream. And so that's another thing, guys. I mean, you might want to consider moving to a free state. You might want to consider moving to a free state that has woods, that has the ability to dig for wells, that has less government overreach. You might want to think about that. You might not want to stay in a state where, like I think in California, they penalize you for collecting rainwater. And now they've passed a new law in communist-fornia where you can't even have a fence around your house, as they flood the state with illegal alien criminals. We have no idea who these people are. In order to redistrict the whole state using the U.S. Census with illegal aliens for more Democrat seats. So you might want to move somewhere that doesn't allow that kind of stuff. So you might want to think about that. So I would recommend prep spots and bury caches along the routes. John, we were talking about your dirty man safe.
Uh-huh.
Bury your caches along the routes. You can use PVC pipes sealed with end caps. You can buy MREs or you can buy LREs like the Delta Force uses. So MREs are all pre-hydrated meals ready to eat that we used in the Marine Corps when I was in. But now these modern guys, the Navy SEALs, SEAL Team 6, the Delta Force guys, the unit, they use what are called LREs or long range eats. And so they're basically dehydrated versions of the MRE. So they're lighter because you want to be able to pack stuff in. So I would recommend looking for that. Start with an Army Navy surplus store. You can stabilize your other foods with additives like PRI-G. You want to have plenty of ammo and tools, and you can mark things with a GPS. But remember, if tech fails, you're not gonna. You need to memorize. You need to learn how to use a map. All the stuff they don't teach public school kids because they want idiots. You need to learn. Kids need how to. Besides learning how to do cursive writing, the kids need to learn how to do maps. They need to take civics classes, metal shop. In other words, home school your kids. Get them away from the Marxist-run public schools as soon as you can, or your little boy may be coming home wearing a dress because his public school teacher taught him that he's really a girl. So think about that. So what to save for emergencies? Stock non-perishables like rice and beans. Use Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Obviously, I talked about AR-15 for defense, modular, reliable, common parts. 22 rifle like a Ruger 1022 for hunting small game. It's quiet, the ammo's cheap, it's light. And again, the Glock 19, simple, durable, high capacity for protection. And again, in California, they call them high capacity magazines, right? And so they only allow you to have 10 rounds in your gun. But no, it's called the standard capacity magazine.
Yeah,
that's
10
these
rounds
idiots,
standard.
Freaking jackasses that run that state. I'm so glad we got out of there. So anything else? Okay, medical kits, solar chargers, heirloom seeds for gardening, building a community, trade skills pre-collapse like Kinetic Customs. Look, man, if you're a mechanic, this guy actually can build a solar power system, guys. A solar
Thanks
power
for
system.
coming, dude. Sorry, go ahead.
And by the way, not just that, but with him, with his power system, now you can be a ham radio guy. I recommend that everybody in this group and on this show gets a ham radio license. You need to learn how to use a ham radio because then you can reach out to other prepper communities when the shit finally does hit the fan, because there'll be people that were smart enough to learn how to build their own power system too. By the way, bring your own fuel, bring generators, have a place to bug out to already set up. Again, don't use the main roads. Use your ATVs to avoid using the main roads and escape. So if anybody has any questions about burying caches or anything like that, the answer is 3 to 4 feet off the trail, and you want to use natural markers and know how to use a map, all right? Transportation, roads are jammed. You need a versatile ride. There's two-wheeled dirt bikes like the Honda CRF 250. It's an off-road capable, fuel efficient. It dodges obstacles, and you want to add saddlebags, and you can also set them up to tow stuff like these 4x4 truck, like a Toyota Tacoma. You could do that, guys, but the issue is going to be you're not going to be able to use the roads. The larger the vehicle, the more difficult it's going to be for you to go off-roading.
Why do you have 30 radios, Chuck? Go ahead, Mike.
Right on, Chuck. You can also choose electric options, but again, you know, if there's no electricity, you can also get solar charged e-bikes for stealth, right? So if you have a bug out location that's close and it's already stockpiled, you've got an underground, you know, where you buried one of those underground storage units, right? You've seen those before, right, John? Those storage containers on the ships, you can bury those suckers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you got that, you could just get an electric powered bike and bug out that way because you already have your bug out location with all your gear there. So you're able to travel light, which is what I recommend. Always travel light. Okay. Towing, get a utility trailer for bug out bags. Practice routes on back roads in advance. Use Google Earth for planning and print those maps because when you don't have any power, you're not going to be able to use them. For water, that's your lifeline in a collapse. Store at least 1 gallon for per person per day in food grade barrels. Collect rain barrels from roofs. Again, that's illegal in California to collect rainwater. Idiots. Purify, boil, and use filters like Life Straw Sawyer.
Dude,
Remove the bacteria.
I'm sorry, Michael, but that to me should cause a revolutionary war. The fact that a government can tell you can't collect rainwater. Think of just the absurdity of that, and the fact that some retard sat at a dais and said, "Yeah, we think it's a good idea that the water that falls from the sky can't be collected by the fucking people."
All the teachers unions are run by communists and Marxists, and they teach absolute obedience to the political system. Public schools are the reason why these kids can't read or write, but they hate ICE, and they hate they hate everybody that goes against their communist Marxist belief system. So if the government says, if Gavin Newsom says you can't collect rainwater, we need 15-minute cities, your boy's really a girl, they buy into it. They don't even talk about Epstein.
I know, yeah, exactly. These are the kind of things that lead to those. Once you say you as an American can't put a barrel in your yard and collect the rain, then they fell for that. Now we can go for something more absurd. Now we can go for something more absurd. Now we can go for something more absurd. Let's try this on them. Guys can be women.
Boiling the frog. It's called boiling the frog, and the public school system has done that. Now imagine if you had taken our parents and put them in this modern society, and someone told our dad or our grandfather he couldn't collect rainwater.
Oh my God.
Okay, but they're boiling the frog. They've convinced these dumb little kids, that you can be anything you want. You can even be a doggy. You've seen those guys. Right?
Yeah, you can be an animal.
Yeah, you can even be an animal, and people buy into it. And, you're a racist, bigot, and a homophobe if you don't let little Johnny wear a dog suit to school. So it's mental illness personified. So chemicals, you want to have bleach. You want to have 8 drops per gallon or iodine tabs to purify water. By the way, John, you can also use silver to purify a lot of things. Like, the way they kept milk fresh back in the old days is they throw a silver coin in it. It would stay fresh almost as long as it does in a refrigerator. A lot of people
silver and gold kill bacteria.
That's right, brother. That's right. It's an amazing metal, both of them. Dig a well if you can. If on land, hand dig a shallow well 10 to 20 feet with a post hole digger in high water table areas. Line it with PVC or dry point wells with sledgehammer kits, cheap from hardware stores. Again, ham radios, get your license now. Barter items. You want to have barter items. Cigarettes, coffee, tobacco, hygiene stuff, mental prep, stay calm, and have family drills. What's that?
Toilet paper?
Maybe. Corn on the cob.
Okay. I don't know. 3 seashells?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Look, the idea is you want to have stuff you can barter with. But as a medium of exchange, gold and silver, this constitutional currency right here, is also important to have, because not everybody is going to want to bring you their stuff, right? Or carry a bunch of heavy stuff. You could have a medium of exchange. Go ahead.
No, he told me to use my left hand, life under the microscope. Use my left hand for what? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, hey, what's up, life under the microscope? Good seeing you, brother. So we're almost done. So again, I just want to look at some of the questions before we close it out. What's the matter? You says, so as horrible as the Democrats are, just look at what DT is doing. Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not talking about Donald Trump.
Okay.
I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about people who allowed 20 million illegal aliens to flood into our country and immediately gave them social security numbers and gave them billions of dollars of free stuff, who are waving Mexican flags and not trying to become Americans, but trying to force Mexico on America. So, but we can talk about Donald Trump another time. But I'm talking about the real problem that faces people who live in urban communities, like women who are getting RAPED'd and shot and killed by these illegal alien criminals who refuse to submit to our way of life. But we can talk about DT. One thing I can tell you about Donald Trump is his Department of Justice joined my brief, and Alan Beck's brief in the Wolford case. And it's a concealed carry case before the state of Hawaii. It's I think it's the 4th time in the history of the United States that the Department of Justice has joined a private citizen. in order to make sure that the people of Hawaii have concealed carry rights. So we can talk about Trump. In this case, I would say it's the better of two evils. At least we have pro-Second Amendment justices at the Supreme Court now. Imagine if Newsom or Pelosi or Sleepy Joe got some, or that idiot Pamela, whatever her name is. What was her name? Camel Toe Harris.
Oh, okay.
If Camel Toe Harris would have gotten a couple more Supreme Court justices, the DOJ would be arguing in favor of the.
No. Forget politics right now, man.
All right.
We're already running 9 minutes late. We could do that.
All right. So we can definitely talk about other things, but right now let's talk about silver. I think is best for trade. Junk silver is the way to go. Don't forget that I have this 1/10 ounce piece of gold that I'm giving away for Lynn Davidson for the highest donor. So who wants to donate the most money to Lynn Davidson? And let me see what else. And again, today's the last day of the contest, guys. So help Lynn out. Lynn is a guy who is wheelchair bound. He doesn't have any hot water. And we're just trying to raise some money for him. All right. So what a show. Thanks, John, for
guys, what time does this thing end? Tonight at midnight or what?
Yep, tonight at midnight. That's when I'm going to start collecting all the information.
Okay, so tonight at midnight, you have up until midnight. Whoever donates the most, whether it's cash or the equivalent of a donation, car, bike, I don't know, will win a 1/10 ounce gold coin from Michael Ehline. He's out of his own personal collection. That's a $500 piece of gold. And the highest bid right now, I believe, is $100. So if you put 101 in right now, you'd be the leader in winning that gold coin. All right, Michael. Thank you, man, for coming on. Lynn,
thanks,
man, I'm sorry you're going through stuff, man. I know it's tough out there, dude. Hang in there. If you guys can throw them $5 here and there, if you don't have to go for the gold coin,